Hello, girls, guys, and everything in between. My name is Veronica, if you haven't been here before, and if you have, thank you so much for returning. But if you haven't, welcome to the gang. Today, as you can probably tell by the title, is a 3 looks 1 palette tutorial using The Tribe by Juvia's Place. I recently made a Juvia's Place purchase, and this was one of the included items that I bought. No sponsors here, all my own money, yada yada yada, y'all know the drill. So yes, this is the Tribe palette, and yeah, it's just a really interesting blue-green sort of palette. It doesn't have one color scheme, it has a couple, so I found it very fun to play with. So I do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, please like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will leave my socials up above, of course, if you'd like to follow. And let's get into it. So to start off, I've already primed my lids with concealer, and I'm going in with the shade Cuba, from the Tribe palette of course, on a small detail brush. We begin by drawing a straight line from the lower lash as if creating a winged liner, but extending it further than you would typically. Once the wing line is completed, begin creating a swooping shape across the upper eye. I followed the bone structure of my eye socket, starting from the middle as I wanted that to be the highest point of the shape. Make sure this line reaches the end of the line created earlier. Then, extend this line across the upper eye to the inner corner, making sure the shape is smooth and round. I like to turn my head in multiple angles to ensure this, so take your time. So this is pretty much the shape that we're going for. I'm just going to continue touching up the edges to make sure all the lines are clean. Now we can begin extending the inner corner. I really like this exaggerated cat eye shape. I think it's super dynamic and impactful, but still really simple. To build the inner corner, I began by following the curve of my upper waterline and then connecting that backwards into the line we made earlier. Taking that same shade, Koopa, that we've been using the entire time on a finger, we can fill in the shape. Now, fingers are not very precise, so avoid those nice clean edges. We will handle those in a moment. Now, taking a dampened flat brush, bring that color to the edges to precisely fill in the rest. Just to clean up the edges a little bit more and adjust this shape if necessary, take a tiny bit of concealer on a flat top brush, being sure to press firmly as we make these strokes because we don't want anything to smudge. And this is the completed eye look. And here's the full face. I paired these eyes with the Peachy Nude Lip by combining Flower Beauty's Hydra Silk Ultimate Lip Butter in U3 Peach Petal with Rimmel Lip Gloss in Non-Stop Glamour. We're going to start by sweeping Masai into the upper crease and blending it toward the brow. We want to keep the outer edge of the shape up pretty high to create that winged look. On a smaller, slightly more dense fluffy brush, pack Tootsie into the lower crease, blending it into Masai, but keeping most of the pigment relatively low. We are still keeping that wing shape, and because this is a cut crease, be sure to bring this shade into the inner crease as well. Now taking a denser packing brush, pack sand into the outer corner, covering about a quarter of the lid space. With that same small fluffy brush from earlier, take small amounts of sand at a time to begin blending out that outer edge and into the outer crease. At this point, we can blend the edges of that deep green further using Tootsie and Masai above and below that wing shape, as well as deepen up the crease. Here, I'm just packing on a little bit more of sand to ensure that it's as deep as it can be, and touching up the edges more. Now, with a little concealer brush, we can cut out the crease. I have slightly hooded eyes, so I like to make my cut creases higher than my lid, but you choose whichever shape flatters you most. Try to make the shape as precise as possible and fade out the concealer at the edge of where the sand shade starts. On the small fluffy brush, pack Tootsie on the edge between sand and the concealer. We are sort of going to create two stripes of color, Tootsie and Masai, and then fade those stripes together to create an ombre effect while preserving the pigment of each shade. Taking the shade Coral on a dampened flat brush, fill in the entire shape of the concealer. This shade is a really cool white to lime green duochrome flip, so it'll give us some dimension without having to use two different shimmers. Small fluffy brush, blend more of Masai between Coral and the other matte shades to create a smooth transition. With a liner brush and a little bit of sand, line the edge of the cut crease and blend with Tootsie on a small fluffy brush for definition and contrast. For the lower lash line, go in with sand on a small fluffy brush on the outer corner, blending it towards the middle of the lower lid. Don't be afraid to smoke this out, as this is quite a dramatic look, and be sure to connect it to the outer corner on the upper lash line as well. With that same brush and a little bit of Tootsie, pack that on the middle of the lower lid and blend it backwards, going underneath the sand shade we just laid down. This will create a smooth, smoked out blend at the outer wing. Still using that same brush, blend Masai into the inner portion of the lower lid, continuing to go backwards under the other shades to the wing on the upper lid. This is the completed eye look. And here's the full face. I paired these eyes with an orange toned brown. This is the AOA Studio Wonder Matte Liquid Lipstick in Nude. I love the contrast between orange and green because it's a bit more subtle than using straight up red. That's just too Christmassy in my opinion. I think this look is really fun, but also has a lot of glamour, perfect for going out in the evenings. I say having not left my house in 6 days. For this final look, we're taking a shanty on a pencil brush and packing it on the outer and inner corners of the upper lid. With that same shade on a fluffy blender brush, blend the outer edges of each corner in circular motions, and then connect the corners through the crease to create the base of the halo. On a small damp flat brush, press chaga at the inner edges of the matte shade we just used. By using shimmers of different depths, we can create a smooth transition for the halo eye shape. Then fill in the blank space at the center of the lid with coral. Using whatever is left of a shanty on the fluffy brush, gently pat over the edge between chaga and the shanty to softly blend. For the lower lash line, pack a shanty on with the pencil brush and really smoke it out with the fluffy brush to get that grunge look. Here's the completed eye look. Here is the full face. I felt that this look needed to be with a true brown lip, so I layered AOA Studios Wonder Matte Liquid Lipstick in Bombshell with NYX's Intense Butter Gloss and Cookie Butter. These names are getting out of hand. I really hope you guys enjoyed these 3 looks, and I will be doing more videos following this concept. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!